About 5–10 minutes into the convoy, my driver swerves to miss a pothole. Unfortunately, he hit another pothole, bouncing the rear of the vehicle around, and the pothole he tried to miss, the rear of the vehicle hits it, and 2 anti-tank mines with white phosphorus blow up directly underneath my seat. The vehicle goes 6 feet into the air, comes down, bouncing around. Driver did a great job. He saved the vehicle from rolling. Everybody gets out. I couldn't move. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was the moment. But I sat there and I was looking in between the seat and out the window of the front passenger, looking for the vehicle in front of us. The only problem was there was no vehicle in front of us. We were the lead vehicle. Then I thought it was the vehicle behind us. But then all the smoke started coming from the engine compartment and the radio area. But I still couldn't move. I couldn't get out. But I knew we'd been hit. So immediately I remember a full-bird colonel giving a briefing at Fort Dix about more soldiers are dying in vehicles today due to not being able to unlock combat locks on the doors. It's a device that we allow. You lift it up, you slide forward, it locks the door for our safety, so if we go through towns, that they cannot open the door and throw a grenade in or attack us from outside. I was able to do that for some reason, but I still couldn't get out. I don't know why. Well, my team of leaders did everything they could. They got us security, they did accountability. They realized I wasn't there. They saw the vehicle. By that time, the vehicle was totally engulfed in flames. It was burning. And they saw me just sitting back there. So they ran over there. They set up security. They opened the door, not knowing that as soon as that oxygen came in, I went up like a candle. I was all totally engulfed in flames. I woke up immediately. I fell out of the vehicle and I jumped up and started running. And I remember, the most I remember is the screaming. I remember running and screaming. And the reason why that counts to me right now is because I still dream about it today. And it's hard. I don't know if it was subconsciously or consciously. I told myself, hey, idiot, you're a firefighter. Stop, drop, and roll. We teach kids that every day. So I did it. But it didn't work, because every time I rolled, the sand would put it out or extinguish it, but as soon as the air would hit it, I was so covered in diesel, it would light right back up. So I got to my knees and I said, I need to get my gear off. I'm still full of ammo. I don't want it to cook off. So I take off my mesh helmet, I take off my ABA, and I get my left glove off, and I get my right glove, and it just starts coming off in pieces. And I look at my left hand, and it looks like a hand. I look at my right hand, and it's totally red. Because it already melted to my hand, and everything I was ripping was coming off with it. It freaked me out. I jumped up and started running again. One of my soldiers came by and did a football tackle on me and took me to the ground, and the motor sergeant came over the fire extinguisher and put me out. They picked me up and they carried me to a vehicle for safety. They got me in there and they laid me in there kind of on my side tilted. And my medic and 2 combat lifesavers came in there and started treating me. I was still screaming though. I'm yelling at them saying, I'm still on fire. They said, you don't have any clothes left, it's all burned off. And we've cut away anything else that wasn't there. Being I was laid over like this, my 9mm I was wearing, the straps were melted off, but the 9mm was melting into my leg still in the holster. So when they rolled me, they saw it sitting there, and they ripped it off and threw it out the door. I don't have a serial number, I can't tell you that. So. But the helicopter came, and they get me out there to the bird. And I'm feeling pretty good because they've given me about 3 rounds of morphine by now. So, you get lots of emails, lots of letters, lots of thank yous. And I've got thousands of them in boxes while I was at the hospital. The thing is, I've never read but one of them. Not because I don't appreciate the thank yous, the time and effort that people took to do that. Scott's not ready to go there yet. I don't want to relive it again right now. But I do every day. It's kind of funny, but I don't want to read it right now. The one I was made to read, though, is from one of my soldiers. You know how you get to know somebody so well, they can write something and not sign it? Or they can be walking down the hallway, you don't see them, but you know who it is? Well, when I read this letter, I knew exactly who wrote it. It was a female soldier of mine. And she wrote some stuff in there like he was a big guy. I never saw him move so fast. But the thing that shocked her the most is I got up off the gurney and stood up before they put me on the bird. And I thanked every one of my soldiers before they flew me out of there, because they did their job. I'm alive. I'm getting on that bird alive still. And back in the day, in Vietnam era, you wanted to last with all my burns. So I fall back onto the gurney, and they fly me away. Ended up command base, operating base spiker, got treated. I was too severe for them, so they sent me to Balad and then on to lawn school. Well, in that time, in the Balad lawn school, 2 separate trips, I died both times, and they had to resuscitate me. All that smoke and inhalation that I received while sitting in that vehicle and inhaled, I was spewing that out like chocolate. And they kept having to suction it every 30 seconds, and my breathing was so laden that I couldn't control it. I was agitated, I was ripping and scratching at my burns, pulling out my lines. But they were able to resuscitate me in both trips. They had to do emergency landings both times. So the doctors decided, once I was in lawn school, that we need to get it back to the States. So they put me in an induced medical coma. That way they can treat me, and my breathing would be a lot more stable. It worked. I got back to the Brooke Army Medical Center in Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio, Texas, within 48 hours of injury. This is pretty good. And I was in surgery. I've had over 36 of those. And I've still got about a dozen still to go. I didn't come out of a coma until the end of February, beginning of March. And I woke up in a hospital room, and I'm looking around, it's all white, and I see my mother, my wife, and my brother. I didn't understand what they were doing in Iraq, because that's where I thought I was at still. After they calmed me down and told me what happened to me, they started to explain my injuries to me. I'm over 47% third-degree burn, total body surface. I have a C5 fracture in my neck, nerve damage across my shoulders. Both my shoulders were shattered in the blast. They're held together by anchors right now. And I have to have surgery on them. I put it off until after golf season. I have to have 9 more anchors put in just to hold them together until I reach age 55 and they can replace both of them. I have 8 compound back fractures, 5 bulging discs, and a spinal cord injury. I have 2 blood clots in my right leg, nerve damage in both legs, the typical PTSD, TBI, short long-term memory loss, and severe migraines I still have to today that wrap me around my toilet, screaming sometimes I have to be taken away in an ambulance. But I'm alive. While I was at Brooke Army, it's the first time that I was introduced to the Wounded Warrior Project. I saw these soldiers, men and women who served, that were injured like me, getting the opportunity to leave the hospital. And I wanted that because, 1, the food's bad. 2, I wanted to feel normal again. You can only go so far outside the room before they put you back in bed. So I asked a buddy of mine, I said, hey, what is the Wounded Warrior Project? Oh, they're great. They take us on trips. They take us to movies. They get us food. I mean, they reintegrate us into society. They let us know that we are still part of society. Well, can you get me on one of these trips? Yeah. So I got to go hunting. I got to go to Bass Ranch, and I got to shoot deer for 4 days. Many as I wanted. I shot 8 deer that weekend. It was probably the most happiest time of my life since my injury that I've ever had. Just because, number 1, I could shoot still. Number 2, I made a lot of new friends, and the camaraderie was there. And 3, I felt human again. I felt just like each one of you.